So when you go to add glazes to your pottery, the best way to do it is to choose one color to cover up your piece. And when we do this, we want to lay it on pretty thick. We don't want to really brush it on. I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to use a brush like this, either a puffy fan brush or a bigger flat brush like this. And here's my glaze here in this cup. This is going to stay close to this color. It's going to change into glass when it goes back in the kiln. So I'm going to get some glaze on here and kind of lay it on like this. So I'm doing the whole side of this cup first. So this area is done. I'm not going to keep brushing it over and over again. I'm just going to let it lay there and let it start to dry. Now I'm going to turn to this next part over here, start doing the rest of the cup. Notice how I'm doing it, I'm not really brushing too hard, I'm kind of almost like laying it on and dabbing it on. We're working to get full coverage too, so you don't want to miss any spots. Let's say you're working and your brush starts to get a little bit dry. You might get like little patches like this. This is no good. We want to cover this up fully. So make sure you have a brush that has enough glaze on it. Sometimes you may have to go like this to get into like harder to reach places. But eventually, you'll get to the other side of your work. And you'll notice I skipped one spot. Look at the bottom of this work here. I was careful not to get any glaze on the bottom of this. I want you to try to do the same thing too when you're working on your pottery. No glaze on the bottom. If you get a drip on it or you get a little bit on by accident, it's not that big of a deal. We can rinse it off later or wipe it off later. But we want to do our best to keep the bottom clean. And not only that, look at this bottom edge here too. If you look right here, as I spin this around, there's no glaze on the bottom or the bottom edge. I have a little bit of like a buffer zone. We want the glaze to stay off of this because this is going to go into the kiln on a shelf. All of this is going to turn into molten glass. And if there's any on the bottom, it'll get stuck to the bottom of the kiln. So we want this nice and clean as best as you can. And remember, if you get a little bit on, it's okay. We can always wipe it off later. So right now I'm just going to let this dry. You can see here where I started, this is getting pretty dry here. Just a little spot there. Now while it's laying here, I'm going to do this, this top rim of the cup too. So I have this reddish glaze here that I used for the outside, the rim. Now, I could use this whole color on the inside of it too. One idea you could do is you could switch. Let's say at this point, I can put this brush down with the red. And let's say I want to use something lighter on the inside, like white or yellow or orange. I could do that and have one color on the outside, another color on the inside. Okay, so I covered the outside with this reddish color. I'm gonna put that to the side. And now the inside, I have this light color. This is actually clear, transparent. So I'm gonna work on getting the whole inside of this covered. Look how many times I go back to the cup for some more glaze. I wanna make sure I'm laying it on pretty thick. Being careful not to miss any spots. You'll notice that color on the outside, that reddish color is starting to dry. So just spin this around. Looks like I got the inside of it really well. Like I said, once it's covered, that's it. You just let it dry. Don't brush over and over it again. So now I have my outside red, the inside clear, the white clay.